Hey guys, gonna be talking about cheap ARs. As you can see, I have two in front of you. This is a mismatch of parts. It's an Anderson lower, a Palmetto State Armory parts kit, and a Grid Defense upper, a 3D printed arm brace. I forget what the exact call, like this shock wave brace. They're like 30-40 bucks, whatever color you like. I've ordered a different A2 grip that's pink. This is meant to be an affordable pistol. All the parts here are under $450. Obviously, it's not including the ammo to go along with it or the magazines themselves, but that's just, the rifle. Here is a Palmetto State Armory build. It is an Anderson lower parts kit, but the receiver itself is from Palmetto State Armory. The upper is a built upper from Palmetto State Armory. I think altogether that one's just under 500 bucks, including the backup rear end sight that didn't come with the rifle. But these are functional rifles. The question is durability. How many rounds you can put through them before you start seeing issues. With this one specifically, it's a cheaper one. It's talking like 250 bucks for the upper. The issue I see with these, the Grid Defense ones, they make a bunch of different numbers, but what I see the issue reoccurring is the gas system. That's an easy fix. Take out the bolts, take out the handguard, take out the low profile gas block, throw in a new gas tube, and you should be good for, X amount of rounds till something else wears out. And that's typically how it goes. That's the kind of the benefit having a cheap AR compared to like a cheap other rifle. The parts are available. They're all, mil spec. You can switch them out and not have any issues. They should all function correctly with each other. So I could upgrade the trigger. I can switch out whatever other parts, and they should all work together. Maybe not flawlessly. If you start messing with the buffer tube and stuff like that, you can have like cycling issues. But for the most part, they should work properly. If you're talking like a home defense shot, not shotgun, home defense rifle, you're gonna want to go with quality parts. I would step up from Palmetto State Armory, step up from this bargain bin AR, to like an Aero Precision. Get one of their built rifles. We're talking maybe 250 for their built lower, and then anywhere from 350 to 500 for their built uppers, depending on what barrel length and what options you want. Because they have better quality control, in my opinion, than the cheaper brands. Although I don't think the parts themselves are leagues better. It's just the quality control that gives you peace of mind when buying one of the rifles. With this, I can essentially switch out whatever parts. I can get Aero, gas block, gas tube, upgrade the, nickel boron, bulk carrier group, charging handle, upgrade everything. And I can still have issues. Although I've upgraded all the parts, that's not to say that those wouldn't be good ideas on whatever rifle, but you can still build out a cheap AR that's functional, put rounds through it. The question is, how many rounds? And for like the higher end ARs, I know like Ray has a I can't think of the name, LWRC, just a high quality AR, very accurate. As far as like group size within the home, nothing is that far out in distance. For me, like the group size more determines that everything is for the barrel is torqued down to spec. Everything is working fine, because I've even seen it with like bolt action rifles that don't group well, and that gives you a sign that maybe there's an issue with the barrel or just an issue with the rifle itself. That's kind of where it's at with like just rifles. I'm not worried about semi-boy groups for home defense rifle, but it is nice to know that it does group fine. That lets you know it's working properly. And just little things. This is just me talking about the rifles. I do plan on making videos, versus, because I can throw a red dot with magnifier for around $250 on this rifle, and it'd be, as far as like how it functions, I can see farther and just shoot faster. But it should function for the rounds I plan putting through it without issue. And for this one, again, the gas tube is the only issue. I can put a couple hundred rounds through it. It doesn't mean, oh, I put 500 rounds through it. It's flawless. It's perfect. No, it can break at 2,000 rounds, or that can rust from not cleaning it. We don't know these things. These are all the variables of just cheap stuff. But yeah, this has been me rambling about cheap ARs. As you can see, I have these two, and I have other cheap ARs. And I know the argument is, instead of buying cheap shit, you should just buy one rifle, and that should be your do-all rifle. And I do agree with that. I do have Aero Precision rifles. I don't really have any high-end rifles, because after you essentially buy the rifle for $1,600, a light, a sling, a red dot, ammo, you're already in the thousands, when essentially my Aero Precision rifle, for the most part, does what I need to do. Has the light, has the red dot, has the sling, and that's all I really need for a home defense rifle for 5.56, and I do build other ARs for other calibers. That, again, another point as why I prefer the AR over the AK. I can work on it. I can switch out the uppers. I can now have 200 Blackout, just a Grendel, 223 Valkyrie, and just switch out the calibers very easily. And for the most part, keeping the same mags and keeping the same lowers, keeping the same everything. And maybe, again, with buffer tube and everything else, maybe not functioning flawlessly as soon as I put it together, but you can sort those things out, and they do work fine. And they are affordable. We're talking rifles here under 500 bucks. And again, Palmetto State Armory, I do like them for the most part. They do make a lot of products, so it's hard to say like, oh, all of their products are great when I haven't even seen the Dagger or like their AKs that take like the 9mm AK. I haven't seen those in stock anywhere, so it's hard to say like you know, how good those things are if I haven't tried them. But for their AKs, which I have two, I have a Romanian parts kit build that they have, like the battle worn one. I love that rifle, love that AK. The Gen 3 one with the red furniture, I love that AK. That was my first AK from them, and it's again, no issue even trying bullshit ammo through it. That I've had some training ammo that didn't work well through my Zastava, but it worked fine through that rifle. So, you know, you never know with these things, but if anything breaks on those AKs, it would be harder for me to start switching out parts on those, switching out barrels and switching out, you know, all of that, compared to one of these. This I can do in an hour or two, switch out basically anything on this for the AK. I could put it back together, but I don't know how well it would work, right? And yeah, that's enough of me rambling. That is it. I like cheap ARs, and just, you know, I wouldn't recommend them for absolutely everyone, but if you're strapped for cash, you can buy just a lower receiver. And essentially, I'm not saying maybe your very first one, but I do think anyone is capable of building their own AR. But you can even buy a essentially a lower that's already completed, already built for under 200 bucks. We're talking like an Anderson or a PSA, maybe even stepping up to an Aero Precision, and then, you know, doing it that way in pieces, buying the lower and then buying the upper you want, and then building it out as far as what you want accessories wise, and just stocking up on ammo and practicing and all that good stuff. But controls are all the same, and they should function reliably. That's enough of your rambling. Thanks for watching. I do plan on making longer content. I just checked the channel. I made a video on this a week ago. I still haven't put together all the range video. I still want Ray to shoot it. I still want other people to get a chance to shoot this rifle, and you know, just have fun that way. But that is it for this video. Thanks for watching.